welcome to my channel. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Alright, you're welcome to another exciting edition of my productive living series. And last week I interviewed Ibukun. Ibukun talked about cakes, and then we're still on the side hustle. But before I jump right into today's topic, I just want to say a big thank you for your subscriptions. And if you've not already subscribed, please do that right now. I want to say a big thank you for your subscriptions. I want to say thank you for your comments. A couple of people reached out to me personally to tell me to work on some things, and I hope that you can see like improvements from now on. So today I'll be discussing, what I'll be discussing will be like more like a follow-up to what we talked about last week, and it was picking the right hustle. Last week we started this series on side hustle versus dream hustle, and the reason I started was because of my Muse mentorship students. I ran through that topic with them, and I asked them a simple question: do you think a side hustle is unnecessary? Well, I'm going to ask you that same question too, so you can drop your answer right in the comment section. Do you think it is unnecessary? Do you think it's important? Does everybody have to have a side hustle? I'm not going to share my own response to that, so that I don't leave you biased, but just say your response. Tell me if you think it's necessary or unnecessary. But for the people that do think it's necessary, I'm going to be sharing 3 different tips to guide you as to how to go about speaking your hustles right. Remember our productive series on living your dream life? One of the things that I shared was the 7 P's. I shared the 7 P's to living your dream life, to getting through to your dream life. If you've not watched that video, please refer back to it. But I did say that one of the key things to do is to ponder on what you really, really want to do. You need to be able to ponder on what you really want to do. So today I'm going to talk about 3 tips once again as to how to pick the right hustle. How do you pick the first tip I'll be sharing today is for you to be certain. You need to be certain of what you really want from life. And I say this because you don't want to confuse your side hustle with your dream hustle. So once you're certain about what you really want from life, it's easier for you to be able to pick out what to dismiss or what to keep, what to discard, and what to keep on that list. So you need to be able to really be certain of what you want from life. If you're still not certain, please go back to the first video I did on living your dream life, where I shared the 7 P's. You can also check an article that I wrote on my blog, my website www.airextension.com for more details about that. So going into the second point now, I feel like one of the key things in choosing the right side hustle, if you really need a side hustle at all, is to be conscientious. So to be conscientious means that you really know what you want and you're working in line. So for me, I would advise that you pick a side hustle that is in line with what your dream life is. If sometimes, because I understand that a lot of us have challenges and limitations, maybe our environment limits us, or our background, and we cannot quite pick what is really in line with our dream hustle, my suggestion to that would be that you really understand why. So you ask yourself what exactly you're doing in that line. Another point about being conscientious is to study. So you need to open your mind wide to be able to study, to be able to expand your mind. So for me, I think one of the key things that helped me was I started to open my mind. I started to study my Bible more. I started to read more books, and I started to listen to more messages or talks. The third tip is for you to be calculative. For you to be calculative, I believe that that's important too in picking the right hustles, because it's important that you know where it leads you to. It's important that you know that side hustle has a link with your dream hustle. Don't get me wrong, I understand the place of finances. But I think the major reason why I shared the first point about being certain is for you to understand your why. So another reason why you have to be certain is to understand your why. Know why you want to do what you're doing, so that when you know your why, making decisions based on your why is going to be quite easy. So when you're calculative, of course, it means that you already know your why. You already know why you want to pick that side hustle. Your why, your simple why could just be that you're doing this side hustle so that you can make more money, so that you can be able to further your education that gets you your dream course of study, or that gets you your dream job, something like that. but you need to be able to understand why. So I think that's where being calculative comes in. You need to be calculative. You need to find out what time you need to put into what time is required for the side hustle. If the time you're putting into it really leads to your dream hustle, you also need to find out what experiences that you need. So for picking your side hustle, you need to be sure that, oh, this experience, are you sure that it's going to be important to me as to, or whatever it is that I'm doing at the end of the day. So let me quickly share my experience about how I felt I was doing a lot of things at some point, and I really was praying for God to help me cut down a lot of activities. And I did end up cutting a lot of things. I did a lot of streamlining because I went through a series of retreats. I did a lot of streamlinings, and then there were things that I felt I already cut them off, but the Spirit of God was telling me to hold on to them. And this was what He said to me. He said that everything I'm learning is a training ground for where He wants to take me. So it means that everything I'm learning is so that I acquire the skill that takes me to where He's taking me to. So with that in mind, I kind of had a reason why. So if I'm doing anything now, I understand that there is a why. If I'm on YouTube, or if I'm cooking, or if I'm doing something, it's because it's a journey to my why. It's congenial to whatever it is that I want. So that's quite important, so that you are not wasting time. You are not studying fashion designing when you really want to be a baker. You can actually do something with baking. You can start a side also with baking. You can maybe enroll for courses, free courses. So it's really important that whatever you do, you begin to take steps towards where you're going to, and maybe conscientious step that leads into the second point right now. Take conscientious steps to where you're going to. Okay, so I'm just going to recap, and I would end this vlog. The first thing I said is for you to be certain. To be certain is to be able to understand your why. You need to hustle in the first place. You need to be certain why, and then you need to be you need to really know what you want from life. That's also what I said. I should check out my previous post. Another thing that you need to be conscientious. You need to be conscientious. You need to also study. You need to study too. You need to study why. You need to study. I think it's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2. Verse 15 that says that study to show yourself approved. So you need to study. You need to study to be approved of anything. And that leads me to the third point, which is being calculative. So when you're calculative, you know what kind of education you're getting, and that relates to studying. Knowing the kind of education you get, knowing the kind of experiences that you need. And then you need to understand the kind of time. You need to know what time you're supposed to dedicate into that particular craft, so that you don't invest energy in what is actually that is going to affect your dream life at the end of the day. I'm glad to be sharing these 3 tips with you. If you feel like there's something I haven't said but it's really important, I feel like you should put it on the comment section. I'm also glad to be learning from you. These are just few points from my own personal point of view, and if I also learn more from you, why not? I can continue this series. So please share with me, and you can also check out the blog post of this particular video at my website, www.harrisnation.com. Till next week when I come by YouTube. I love you all. Please do subscribe and do share. Have a great week ahead.